Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and it is Sunday, so good morning. Happy Sunday to all of you. We are going to go over subscriber news. Now, this week was quite interesting. Some of you really sent me some interesting stuff. And so we're going to dive right into it because I'm excited. Sometimes I get some of the topics and headlines, and they're so big and widely spoken that just about everybody's going to cover it. But a lot of you guys are digging deep, and I tell you what, I absolutely love it. So let's go ahead and let's dive into. Let's see, which one are we going to do first? All right, let's do this one first. All right, so right here, if you can see right here, Costco is selling what shoppers are calling an apocalypse bucket featuring 150 meals that last 25 years. So again, we're showcasing that this prepping community is starting to build. It's really starting to go a little bit more mainstream. This is MSN.com, and you start going down in here, they start talking about how they're dubbing these apocalypse buckets, uh, and it's actually a pretty decent price there for $79.99. But oops, I was like clicked into the wrong thing. It's 80 servings. All that. I'm not trying to do anything to showcase who they are, but I'm not making any money, nor am I saying buy that item now. Pointing out that there's a lot of this that the mainstream media is starting to pick up that hey, this is one of those things that maybe it's something worth talking about. So I tend to notice things like that. There's a lot of people that don't know that there's survival buckets and things like that, right? And so mainstream media is starting to pick up onto it and let everybody know. All right, let's move on into this one here. Okay, so this one is the most important news.com blue screen of death to throw the global economy into a state of chaos for weeks. So, a lot of people right here saw this Sunday night into Monday morning. I'm sure a lot of you knew about this story. There's a pretty decent amount of it that's already been corrected. They're going through and saying, this was an update error. Something got put in there that counteracted something else, and that's why all this happened. And everybody's coming out of the woodwork. Largest IT outage in history, right? And I get it. It affected the entire globe. This wasn't, something that was small. This was worldwide, and they are saying to get fully done, it could take up to weeks to recover. And this affected a lot. So this did hospitals, online services for banks, different things for receiving paychecks and doing payroll stuff. This grounded airplanes. There was a lot. There was a lot of things that went through when this happened. Of course, this is CrowdStrike that went through. Yes, you can throw on your tinfoil hat and you deep into CrowdStrike and all the other stuff. I'm not going to do that on this one, but just letting you know if you really want to dig deep, that might be one that you could really sink your teeth into on that one. So I'm sure most of you are very much well aware of that one. Let's move on into this one that another one of you sent in, which is Trump picks one-time critic J.D. Vance, now a fierce defender, as his running mate. So I know that I should probably be a little biased because I am from Ohio, which he is currently the senator of Ohio. Um, I don't know where I stand on him, nor am I going to tell you who to vote for or not to vote for. I don't know. I'm very torn with him. I think a lot of it is because I don't know his stance on a lot of things yet. So we will have to see. I give him some credit. I give him a little bit of respect. If you come out as a critic and then over time, your views can change. I get it. It happens, especially there's a lot of people out there. if I like team purple and you like team green or whatever, not sports sort of thing. I don't like you while the game's on, right? And then afterwards everything's okay. But if you suddenly switch from green to purple, now we're the greatest of friends and all that. But if it goes the other way, if you're on my team and you switch over to team green, and all of a sudden I don't like you, even though for years and years and years, it's always about the current. It doesn't really, people don't bring up the past unless it benefits them. People don't bring up a lot of things unless it benefits them, right? So we'll have to wait and see. I'm very torn with him, but again, that's just on me, right? All right, so let's move on to the next one that one of you guys have sent in, which is going to be this comes from the economic collapse blog.com, and it says we haven't seen this historic surge of corporate bankruptcies like this since the Great Recession. This is a pretty interesting read. It goes out and it's telling about figures of the S&P Global Intelligence that show that 75 companies have filed for bankruptcy in June alone. So this is the highest number recorded in a single month since 2020, the height of the pandemic. This year, from January to current, is 346 company bankruptcies, which is notably higher than the last 13 years. Now, they're also putting here that the highest half figure recorded was in 2010 with 437 companies filing for bankruptcy from January to June. Okay, so uh, yeah, I think there's a lot of people that is sleep on this, sort of thing. There's a lot of indicators and different things to look at when you want to start seeing if there's some sort of economic crisis or something like that. Uh, and that's definitely one of them, which I found very interesting. It was almost like you guys were coordinating because the immediate email that I got right after that was this right here, again from the most important news.com. 10 signs that global war is rapidly approaching. So let's take a quick overview. They start the article off with a couple of things there, and then they start in on number one, Politico. It's reporting that Israel and Hezbollah have both drafted battle plans. Okay, well that's just hearsay. Even if it's true, okay, so they drafted battle plans. We have contingency plans for everything, right? It doesn't mean anything. You know, there's nothing behind that right there that really is some red line lights flashing. War is right there around the corner. I'm gonna scratch that one. Number two, Iran is warning that there will be an obliterating war if the IDF enters southern Lebanon. It's just saber rattling, right? You're just rattling the cage and don't do this, okay? So again, it's, it's rhetoric that you would expect. So I'm going to scratch that. Three, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is convinced that a major war with Iran is inevitable. Okay, again, I'm convinced. Netanyahu didn't write this. You're speaking on what you're pulling out of whatever. This is, again, there's nothing tangible. There's no action. There's no nothing. So I'm going to scratch this one. Number four, according to NBC News, the U.S. is moving military assets into position so they can be ready to evacuate Americans if war breaks out. Okay? Or they could be moving assets in for all sorts of other different reasons. Uh, and it could be a sign that war is coming, or it could just be rotations. It could be, whatever. Um, this is, again, it's a bunch of guesswork. So I'm not really buying into this one. So I'm going to scratch number four. Number five, on Thursday, Hezbollah sent approximately 40 missiles and rockets into northern Israel. All right, finally, something that we can see happen. Actual physical action. Okay, so is this something that war is inevitable? Not really. This is just a strike. So, it's definitely something I would keep on the radar, but nothing that I would be jumping up and down for. So let's move on to number seven. This is apparently the Oval Office president is thinking about approving a plan that would allow U.S. military contractors to be deployed in Ukraine. Okay, what's the key word? thinking about, okay, well, I'm just going to think about this. If somebody thinks that is a red flashing light that war is happening, next week, then we'd all be in trouble. At least hopefully, because hopefully everybody's critical thinking. But somebody thinking about something is nothing. So I scratch that one. Number 8, uh, Russian President Vladimir Putin is reportedly investing in, or interested, sorry, reportedly interested in developing a coalition of nations that would rival the West and NATO. So, reportedly interested. No. Okay. Could it be true? Sure, absolutely. Is it probable? Maybe. I mean, why not? But uh, war is happening, right now. I would scratch that one. Number 9, Putin is also warning Russia will need to begin production of intermediate range nuclear weapons systems. Okay, so again, it's a warning. Hey, I'm saber rattling, I'm a rattle the cage, I'm the big dog on the porch barking. No, I don't see this. This is just rhetoric. This is just something so that way you're volleying things back and forth. I say something, you say something. But no, this is again, it's nothing action. Rounding out the 10 list is a very influential figure in Russian foreign policy circles. Right there. That first right there is absolutely, I don't even need to read any further, but I will. But that is no. Suggesting, again, red flag, no. That Russia could be actually detonating a nuclear device in order to show the world how serious they are. Again, it's rhetoric. It's just, I'm going to bark really loud and puff up and show my teeth. It's it's nothing. Again, it's all just what you would come to expect and all that. So very interesting though. I do give it its credit on that they came up with a pretty good list right there. So we'll have to wait and see if any of those come. But that's just my take on things like that. Let's round it out with the last one that I got sent here, which is USAWatchdog.com. Pandemic, financial collapse, war, and terrorism designed to overwhelm. Now, I've been saying this for a little while right here. Um, if you want to believe that there is some counter whatever going on behind the scenes, this would be a very good way that you would want to do it. Okay. Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, you would pick out two, three, four, 10 different things, and you would just start throwing them against the wall and see what sticks. The more things that you try, the better odds you have. And so, let's go ahead and put on a tinfoil hat here for just a quick second. So, you know, pandemics, could it be something that could be engineered? Yeah, absolutely. Um, there's been biological warfare. It's nothing new that already exists. It's a term that you can look at history. So, maybe financial collapse, could a person or people make financial collapse if they wanted to? Yeah, it's definitely possible. Could somebody start a war? Yeah, people do it all the time. That term there, that's a person or people doing something. So, you start putting all these things together. I'll do one thing this week, I'll do two things next week, I'll wait a week, do another one. And you just start throwing whatever the news picks up on and people start really latching on to. That'll be the one that I start putting a little bit more focus and attention. If something like I put out murder hornets or whatever they were called, and it doesn't stick and it disappears within a few days, then I know that that's bust, and I just file it away and move on to B, C, D, E, whatever. But let's just say you get lucky and you have three or four different things that actually stick. Well, if you go after one thing, you are crippling one side. You got to think of it as kind of a multi thing here. So if I go after one thing, I can cripple two sectors. Well, if I go after another thing, I can maybe cripple more, and I can cripple more. You start taking people that are at the leadership level, and they have to split their attention, right? Even though you may have delegations, okay, you take the medical field, you take the financial field, you take the whatever, you're still splitting people up. If you have a job to do and you have 10 people to do it, if there's one job, you put all 10 people on that one job. If there's two, now you split them into five. If there's three, now you have to do three, and four. You're putting a lot more workload paying a lot less attention on each task. And so the more things that you can do, the broader you can do it, especially the overlapping, then it really becomes a very sticky situation. So uh, just throwing it out there that there is a thing, whether it is man made and somebody's behind it, whether it's all just naturally occurring. Um, it doesn't matter which one is which. What matters is that it's happening and that you could compound everything. You could get it to where so much is going on all over the place that you're overwhelming the system and people that's got to make decisions and try and get everything back on track and get that fixed, right? So it's definitely something to keep a watchful eye on, to keep in your crosshairs of everything that's going on. You don't want to overlook. You don't want to take something for granted. You don't want to say, "Well, I read a few headlines, I'm not that concerned. I'm moving on." You need to take into consideration on what is the most important things that could impact your life, and then from there, if everything's all hunky dory, it's what can affect those around you. Just because it doesn't affect you, maybe it starts affecting your neighbors. Maybe it starts affecting people in your community, at your job. Maybe it starts affecting the people on the other side of the coast, maybe on the west coast, and it's affecting the east coast. It still can come around and affect you. Maybe that's where you get your supplies from work. It starts making things more difficult. Maybe that's where the auto manufacturing places that you can't get your parts for your vehicles or whatnot. Just because something's not affecting you, just because something's not affecting your neighborhood or your state, doesn't mean it's not going to roundabout affect you. We're all intertied. While that makes things very good and convenient, it also makes things very dangerous because when one thing goes, you start having a domino. So I try and keep an eye on everything. It's very good to go through and look at your things. When something happens, let's say the event that happened, you know, last Saturday. When you have some big high profile thing that happens, you need to check your local and make sure everything's cool. Check where it happened, what's going on, then start checking regional, that state, your state, maybe half of the country, bounce out to global. When something like that happens, you probably need to take a good half hour at least and you start looking around and see is this a one-off thing or is this the start of something? It would be a very good habit to get into just so that way you can start figuring out. A lot of people ask me when is go time. Find the major event, start clicking around and see is this a one-off thing or is it the kickoff of something else? And so if you want to find out is it go time, don't overlook things. Don't just glance at the headline and be like, yeah, whatever, that happens all the time. When there's a train derailment, a plane crash, any sort of anything, that's a good time to take a little bit of a couple minutes and just click. Is this happening on the west coast and the east coast simultaneously? Was there three of them that happened on the same day, really close to each other, or in strategic parts? It's a really good idea, so that way it gives you a bigger picture to find out is it really go time, right? So just my thoughts on that to make myself bigger around this episode. Thank you guys so much for spending a little bit of your time with me. Thank you again for those of you that sent in things. We have you guys sending me stuff, and I can't do the subscriber news, right? So greatly appreciate it. I will give a shout out to John and Amanda at SOE Tactical for my awesome shirt, the United States Post Apocalypse. Love it. So again, if you made it this far in the video, guess what you want? I appreciate you so much. I know it's a little longer video, so if you made it this far, congratulations to you. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you have a blessed day. Hopefully your weekend was good, and I hope that your week coming up is just as good or if not greater. So stay tuned because there is definitely more information to come. With that, I want to remind you, remain united. We're all prepping in this together.